another episode of Coding with Ali. Today we will be continuing our C++ course. So without any further ado, let's get back into it. So you will see here on my screen, I have already coded our basic layout. Now, if you are unsure exactly what this is, please refer back to my previous videos. But to make it sweet and simple, it really doesn't matter. As long as you know you need this for almost every single C++ program, you will be fine. So just put it there and shop. You're one step closer to your first C++ program. Today we're also going to be starting with some variables. So if this is your first time coding and you are a bit unsure of what a variable is basically a container for storing a specific data value. And when you store this data value, so for instance, if you store a number, okay, you need to make sure that the variable is a type of variable that can store a number. So each value that you store needs a specific type of variable to store it. So the first one we're going to look at is an integer. So I'm going to declare my variable is an integer type variable. The name of the variable is number, and the value I'm going to assign to it is an 8. So number is the name of the variable. We declared that it is of type integer, and we have actually stored the number 8 within this variable. So that will be the first one. Integers are whole numbers, okay? Integers, etc. So it's without a decimal or a floating point notation. The next one we are going to look at is, look at my spelling, is double number 2. And this will store a floating point number. So that is going to be with a decimal point, for example, 8.5. Now you can store the number 8 in double, but you will have to say 8.0. And then it will be perfect because it needs to be floating point notation. The next one we are going to look at is a string. So a string is a type of variable. A string variable is a type of variable in which you put a text. You store a text value. So for instance, string name is equal to, now this needs to be in double quotation marks, and we are going to say Alicia. And then voila, you have saved your first text in the name variable. The next one we will look at is the char variable. So this is, as the name implies, you are going to store a character into the specific variable. So we're going to say char, let's say letter is equal to, and this will be in single quotation marks. So just very important to note that when it comes to strings, you use double quotation marks. When it comes to a char variable or a character, you will use single quotation marks. The last variable that we are going to have a look at will be our Boolean value. So a Boolean variable is a variable in which we either store true or we store false. So for instance, I can say bool agreed is equal to true. And here you don't have to use the quotation marks because we're not storing a text. We're storing either the true or false value. So it could have also been bool agreed is equal to false. Very important, just regarding the syntax of your C++ code, please make sure that there's always a semicolon here. It's very important, otherwise your program's not going to run. So I can actually show you if we run this now with all of our semicolons. Okay, so it's just saying that the variable is unused. So I haven't used it yet in my program, so it's nothing to worry about. But yes, let me do that at a later stage. Maybe let's do this. Okay, so if we print all of that, so just to give you an idea, to put output onto the screen, you're going to say cout. You are going to use I think it's the insertion operators. And then you can, for instance, say, I want to print the number. I want to print number 2. I want to print the name. I want to print letter. And I want to print agreed. Okay. So basically, I just took the name of all of these variables. I put it here because I want to print it on the screen. If we run it, then you will see that it prints everything. There's no spaces in between, etc. But I just want to prove the point of you need the semicolons. If I removed the semicolon here and I ran this program, you will see that it's saying error expected a semicolon at the end of the declaration, and it actually shows you here very nicely that you need a semicolon. And no, a different punctuation mark would not have worked. It needs to be a semicolon. Okay, so if we have a quick look at our program, you're going to see that we have declared the variables and we have printed them here. We have printed them as output on the screen. So what I want to do now is show you how you can actually manipulate these variables. So if you have number and number 2, let's maybe create another integer. So we'll say integer number 3 is equal to 10. I can then print out on the screen, control output, insertion operator, we can say number plus number 3. Once again, these are the variable names. So this is a variable number, it stores the value 8, and this is a variable number 3, and it stores the value 10. So here I want to print what is the sum of this one plus this one. So ideally it should give us the value 18. So let's see if it does give us that. Ooh, let us see. Oh, it's not used again. Okay. So let's quickly print them again. So number 2 is not used, name is not used, letter is not used, agreed is not used. Okay, run. Okay, there you go. And as you can see at the end, we have 18 here. So this is very confusing. So just to make it a little bit easier, we can print a new line character. So you put the insertion operators and then you say end L. It stands for end line. So basically it is going to end off the output here, and this will be printed on a new line. So if we run this program, you will see that it is printed on a new line. So that will be the new line character. The other way that you can do a new line character is double quotations marks and then a \n. If we run this, it should also give you exactly the same. So that will be your new line characters. Now, that will be it for output. If we maybe want to get input from the user. So let's say we want to create a basic calculator app, okay? So let's do this together. Let's create your first C++ program so that you can go to your friends and be like, ha, I coded in a calculator, okay? So I'm going to declare variables, okay? So let's say string name. I'm not gonna, I've declared this variable now. I'm not gonna give it a value because I want the user to enter the value. Then we will need 2 numbers. So let's say integer num1, and we can somewhere say num2. So this is a fancy way of saying I'm creating 2 integers or 2 variables that are of the type integer. The one's name is num1 and the second's name is num2. So what we are then going to do is we are going to get input from the user. To get input from the user, we will use the cin object, which is part of the standard input-output library, if I'm not mistaken. So we are going to say cin. This time we will have the insertion operator, and we are going to say, we are going to store the value into the num1. But obviously, if we print this onto the screen now, you're not going to see anything because once again, this one's unused. So what we're going to do is we first need to present a question to the person using the program. So we're going to say cout so that we can print it on the screen. Let's say enter your name. Okay, there you go. And then we're going to change this one to name. Okay, I don't think it's going to work now. Maybe let's just comment this out. There you go. Enter your name, and then I can say Alicia, enter, and it will store that value into the name variable. Perfect. Once we have that, we are now going to create our calculator. So we're going to say cout, enter the first number. Okay, and then we're going to have a semicolon, and we're going to put that into the first number of integer variable. Let's just decomment this. And then we are going to get the second number from the user, enter the second number. Once again, remember the semicolon, guys. And this one we are going to put into the second integer variable. Okay. So this is going to get all of the input from the user. So enter your name. We can say Alicia. The first number is I want to see what is 2 plus 2. Oh no, it's not giving me the results. The reason being is you asked the user for all of the input, but you have not performed yet any operations or printed the result back to the screen. So to do this, we can, for instance, say cout so that we can print on the screen or let's do this. Let's say hi. Let us print the name so that it can say hi, Alicia. Just remember the little space here, otherwise it's going to be against each other and that's not going to look aesthetically pleasing. Name. Okay. The total is, please just see once again, I have spaces here. And then we're going to say the total is num1 plus num2. Okay. And we're going to add an endline character. If we run this now, you will see that it's asking me for my name. So I'm going to say Alicia. The first number is going, let's make it a little bit more difficult. Let us say 40 plus 67. Hi, Alicia. The total is 107. And there you have it, guys. We have officially built your first calculator app. If you do have any questions or something didn't make sense, please let me know in the comments. I will get back to you as soon as I can, because at the end of the day, I am here to help you learn. Thank you so much for watching.